In this video, we'll show you how to use the offline features of iManage Work 10 when you're working from home. Let's go into Work Web as you normally would. Now, when you're at the office, of course, you just open up a browser, open up the bookmark that you have to iManage Work Web, and there you are. You're logged in and you're all set. Now, when you're working from home, that's going to be different, obviously. If you're using a VPN, log in as you normally would. If you're a Citrix user, you'd log in with that normal process. Or if your organization does not require you to be on one of those platforms to be able to work from home with your work machine, you can simply call up Work Web, log in the way you normally would, even if you're asked to do an extra thing like get a push code on your mobile phone to confirm that you are the user that you say you are. Now, if you're not using a work machine, you would obviously need to use a version of Work Web that has limited capabilities because you don't have the software. So in this video, we're going to assume that you have a work machine and you're going to use the native offline capabilities. Maybe you've never used them before. We'll show you how it works. So here I am at Work Web. I've called up a matter, Vincente Holdings v. City of Stockton. I'm in the depositions folder and I found some content I want to work on. Why would I need to use the offline feature? Well, there may be a case where you're working from home and you've got a lot of family members, you're using a lot of bandwidth up, and maybe you've had some problems with internet connectivity. There's the offline feature built right into Work Web if you have the work software, the iManage work software installed on your computer. With that, it allows you to choose documents to take offline. Now, there's some things that you don't even need to do to be able to work offline. For example, if I open up this Timmons Rider A document and I start working away on it, it's a Word document, and I lose my connectivity. Work Web is smart enough to know what you've been working on. So if there's an interruption in your network connection, you can continue to work. And as soon as that network connection is restored, any changes will be saved back when you save and check your document back in. Now, that's a great benefit. You don't even have to think about it. It will just remember where you are and sync you back automatically. Now, you can also be proactive and take something offline. So, you can work on it when you're at home, and maybe you want to allow somebody else to be able to, use the bandwidth on your broadband connection, for example. You don't want to hog all that bandwidth. You can take some documents in an offline mode and then disconnect, work on them, and reconnect again. So here's an example of what we'll do. We'll go into this damage assessment document. And you'll notice that in this menu, you can right click or use this menu. We call it the kebab menu. It allows you to take a document offline. Now you have a couple of options. One of them is, now you've got an internet connection, you're about to go offline so you can share your bandwidth with the rest of the family. What you can do is take it offline and it will be available in Microsoft Word. If it's a Word document, it'll be available in Excel, if it's a spreadsheet, and so on. Now, in this case, someone else, some other user who has a connection, maybe they're working from home, maybe they're working from an office, they're lucky enough to be able to go in, whatever the case might be. In that situation, while you're working on that document, and then when you come back online and go to save it to the system, you could be in conflict with the person who is also working on it. So one little trick you can do, if there's a document you want to work on and you don't want to be in conflict with another user, you can simply go to the more actions and check that document out first. Now that you have that document checked out, it is yours to do what you want with. And now you can go in and take it offline. And when you work on it offline, there's no chance that you'll be in conflict because you're the only one that's able to check it out. Now, where you're working on it offline, you do normal things. And then when you come back, you'll check the document back in and then other people can use it. So that's one way to work on a document offline without worrying about being in conflict with somebody else. Now, I've chosen the document I wanted. Now, how do I work on it? Now, this is where you're going to disconnect and, you want to let the rest of the family use their, the bandwidth. So what you'll do is if it's a Microsoft Word document that you chose to take offline, you'll click this, into Word, and you could do this from the iManage ribbon and see this thing called View Offline Files, which we'll talk about in a moment. But what you'll do is you'll go to the File menu, and Microsoft calls this area the backstage that I'll show you. So if you go to the local open, not the iManage open, and we'll say for the sake of argument that we're disconnected from our corporate network, or I have no connectivity at all for the internet. click on that open, and this is what Microsoft calls the backstage. You may use it from time to time to work on your recent local documents, and that's fine. But when you're working on iManage documents, you can access them from the backstage, whether you're connected or disconnected. You could do this in the office. You can do it when you have an internet connection, you're connected to iManage, but you can also do it when you're offline. So I called up Word, I chose the iManage option in the backstage, and these are all the iManage features that are built into the backstage. Now you'll notice there's all documents, all recent documents, checked out documents, and offline documents. Now, to see items on your offline repository, you really don't have to do anything. Any documents that you've recently worked on will also be on your offline list and available for you to use offline. They're saved locally and they'll disappear after 30 days. Now, if you explicitly check out a document or explicitly take a document by choosing offline, what you'll need to do to be able to access it when you're offline is you would have had to work on it first. So in other words, I just took a document I've never previously worked on and said take offline. It won't be on the offline list until I've worked on it in some way. I worked on it before I got disconnected. So where would I find it? I could go to my my recent documents, and I can find it on that list. Once I start working on it and I save it back, it will be in that offline list for another 30 days. Now, when I'm working on that document, save whatever you want, and then save and close that file. Now, in this scenario, we're still disconnected from the network. We've done our offline work, and then we save and close the document. When we come back online, the system will automatically recognize that we had that document that we worked on, and it will open up this panel called the View Offline Files. So what you'll do is it'll allow you to work on any documents that you had when you were offline. If you had several documents, you'll see them all listed here. Now, in this case, this damage assessment document, I had checked it out before I took it offline. If I didn't, it would just have that document title with no padlock. The padlock indicates that it's been checked out. So go ahead, make any changes you want, upload those changes, and then it will say everything is taken care of. Now, any documents that you worked on, if they were in several different matters, they know exactly where to go back. They know what the document number is. They know what the client matter information is. There's nothing else that you need to do. Now, if I hadn't checked that document out before I chose Take Offline and somebody else worked on it, I would get a message in this offline panels menu saying that you are in conflict, in which case you could just save your offline copy as a new version. So there are a lot of options in that offline capability to let you stay productive and let you share your bandwidth at home, because it's very valuable these days.